everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in today's video, we are talking about impractical home decor, items that look really good on social media, but don't make a whole lot of sense in real life. Now, I'm not saying these items are bad. These are just items that I think it's worth noting that they're just not maybe all they're cracked up to be. They look really good on social, really great on Instagram, love them on TikTok, don't always make sense in your own home, and that's what we're gonna be talking about in this video. This is the 6th part of this series. I'm gonna add the playlist at the end of this video. This is like the longest series I've done on this channel because, you know, this is YouTube, and if you find something that kind of works, then, you know, you ride it till the wheels fall off. At least that's what I do here. So let's get going. Okay, but you know what's something you can put in your home that is practical? That is beautiful, comfortable, and durable bedding, which is why I want to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Brooklinen, longtime sponsor of the channel. Brooklinen is a high-end e-commerce retailer of gorgeous high-end luxury bedding. I recently got the linen hardcore sheet bundle, which includes a fitted sheet, a flat sheet, a duvet cover, and 4 pillowcases in the color cream, because I'm having a bit of a moment with the color cream, to be honest. Having slept on the linen sheets for a while, I can say they are light, but also cozy at the same time, and they're really perfect for those warm days or also those cool nights. And each piece is also washed and dyed in small batches, so it really has that sort of unique and individual character, that sort of perfectly imperfect crumpled look. They have loads of colors to choose from and different combinations to customize your perfect set. So instead of buying individual items, you can also save 20% by purchasing a linen hardcore bundle, the one that I got. And if you want to stock up on bedding and bath essentials for fall or winter, Brooklinen is giving my viewers the $20 off any order over $100 using the code nicklewis at checkout. Use the link down in my description. Thank you again to Brooklinen for sponsoring this video. Now let's look at some home decor that isn't nearly as comfortable or practical. Okay, first impractical home decor furniture thingy is going to be armless sofas. So these are like all over the place. These are very, very popular. People love them. People love the idea of them, right? They look sleek, they look elegant, no bulky arms on the side, nothing to block your view. It can look really great maybe in like a really long sort of space so that it doesn't sort of break the eye line. That can be really nice in theory, but I think these are really impractical because I don't know how everybody else sits on the couch. Maybe you just kind of sit upright like I'm kind of sort of doing here on my YouTube channel right now on this chair, but that's not how I sit on the couch when I'm watching TV. I'm either kind of doing one of two things. I'm either lying down on the couch, maybe even napping. I'm not gonna lie, no shame in the nap game. So I'm either doing that, in which case I'm gonna need an arm. Like I'm gonna need an arm for my pillow, like that's my situation, right? And this, you're just gonna fall off it. Like that's not cool. This just looks like a futon in that sense, and that's not really something that I'm going for when I'm napping on the couch. Or I'm leaning up against it with a pillow right here, smashed in, and then I'm looking at the TV or I'm watching a movie or something. That's how I like to sit, and neither of those things really are conducive with these armless sofas. I just don't think this is, practically speaking, how a lot of people are using their sofas every day. I think they look really chic and elegant, and again, they look really streamlined. They don't block your field of vision, and that can be really cool. There's some really popular designer ones that I'm going to show off here in some images for you that look beautiful. You've probably seen them around, but these armless chairs, armless sofas, but you do see them in side chairs as well. They look pretty popular. They look really popular. They look really cool, but I just don't think they're super practical for how most people are actually going to live. So really think realistically going to be using your sofa, like realistically, okay? If this is maybe a formal living space, an occasional room, we got kind of a family room or a rec room or something where you're actually spending your time in, and maybe have more of a formal living room that is in another area of the house, and maybe you use that, you know, when company comes over and it's a little bit more formal and there's gonna be less lounging going on, maybe it might make sense, but just really think of how you and your family practically uses these furniture pieces before you invest in them, especially some of these designer ones are thousands of dollars, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars for the real ones. And I just don't think that's how people really live. I think people actually like arms. I feel like that's more realistic for how people actually conduct themselves in their space. And I think that is where you should probably really put your attention if you're actually gonna be buying some of these pieces and you intend to keep them for years to come, which you should if you're investing in really good quality, beautiful sofas. Okay, next up on my list is gonna be desks that are in the middle of the room. Okay, listen, first of all, we all lived through the pandemic. There was like, we made some concessions, okay? Like we used the dining table and we used that as a desk for a while. The kids were doing their homework there. We had whatever, the adults were all sitting there in the office. Like we made it work, okay? We were using, you know, maybe you're using the kitchen island and you had a couple of stools there and you're working away on your laptop for a little bit. Like we made some concessions, but now we're ready to, you know, have a home office space or maybe a little sort of area of the home that we've designated as an office or a place to put a desk. And you know, we can do better and make a space that's a little bit more practical for people to actually use as an office, a place to actually do work, okay? And these are something that I see pop up all the time. Again, super popular on social media is these desks that are sort of floating in the middle of the room. We can find a way to make these offices more practical, and I just don't think this is it. Now, I will say, I see a lot of these on beautiful, formal spaces where you've got the marble desk, and it looks like this kind of executive style. Maybe you got like something behind you, a nice backdrop, and then you've got your little camera for zoom, and you just have these desks that are sitting right in the center of the room. I have a problem with these because these desks that are sort of floating in the middle of the room, where are people putting their cords? It's like not super practical because most people, their outlets, maybe their modems, whatever they're sort of using, the things that you need to plug in, right? Those things are probably going to be closer to the wall and not stuck in the center of the room. Now, you know, in a commercial space, oftentimes it's actually built for commercial. You'll see the outlets and things like that actually like built into the flooring. And that might make total sense for a commercial space. Probably not for your residential. Probably most of your electrical is gonna be against the perimeter. It's gonna be on the outside, you know, in the walls as opposed to built into your flooring. Having these desks in the center of the room basically means that you're gonna be living with cords dangling down the front of the desk or the back of the desk right when you walk in, not cool. And then they're going to be what, hidden under a rug and then sort of like snaking over to the wall. It's just silly. And most of these desks, I will be honest, don't have computers on them. Like they may have a shut laptop, so like in theory there's a computer there, but most of these desks that you see on social media, they don't even have computers. What are people doing there? Are they writing their correspondence? Like this isn't the 1800s. That's not what people are actually using their desks for. So these desks in the center of the room, they look really cool. If you have electrical in the flooring, good for you. You probably don't because you don't live in an office or a WeWork or something, but for most people, it's just not going to make sense. I would move that desk closer to the wall, whether it's going to be so your back is against the wall, so you maybe want to look out into the rest of the space. If you have a window or something, that can make sense. Maybe you have it against the wall. That can be a bit more of a space saver, and it might make more sense because you might have your desktop or your computer screen sort of flush against the wall, so it's not cutting off the rest of the space. Or if maybe you do kind of like the look of sort of the desk in the sort of center of the room, maybe just push one of those edges towards the wall where the actual electrical is, and that way you have a place to sort of route all the electrical and all the modems and the wires and the cables and all that sort of stuff. And it's going to be sort of tucked away, and you can sort of keep it looking quite neat, and it's still going to give you a little bit more of that effect of being in the center of the room. Those three formats I think are going to make a lot more sense for most people than having this grand executive style desk in the center of the room, which just screams people that want a space that looks really beautiful, a really great office. It looks great, but it just sort of screams like a person that's not actually planning on doing any real work there. The only exception, I suppose, and again, I'm talking real work there, would a person maybe put a laptop that's obviously going to be basically wireless, then you can maybe use it for a couple hours at a time, but it's probably not going to make sense for a desktop situation or a person that's planning on using multiple devices besides sort of a basic laptop. My own opinion. Okay, next up on my list is going to be large format tile. I'm specifically looking at the large format tiles in the shower and bath area. Okay, so in the bathroom, let's just say this, grout is your friend. Okay, stick to penny rounds, hexagons, whatever. Tile that makes sense for a shower area is going to be better because you're going to get that grout, you're going to get that slip resistance sort of built in. These large format tiles do not have grout, which makes them look really beautiful, makes them look great on social media because sometimes people, you know, they don't want the pattern, they don't want all those grout lines, whatever. They like the look of these sort of sleek, large format tiles, but they can be a real slipping hazard. And as I mentioned before, in sort of mistakes videos I've done in the past, don't kill your family. You know what I mean? Like this is not the way for them to slip and die in the shower because, you know, at worst it's murder, at best it's negligence. So I would just like really try hard to not kill your family. And one of the surefire ways to do it is have them slip in the shower on a large format tile. Stick to something where you've got those grout lines, or talk to the people at the tile shop and ask them which tiles are going to make sense for a bathroom setting. They do look beautiful, I will admit, but they just don't make sense specifically on the floor. Now, if you love them, think about using them in other rooms of the home. That might make a little bit more sense. So, you know, another tile area, like a kitchen, not probably going to have as much water potentially. You're probably not going to slip and die there. Or if you do want to use it in the bathroom, consider using it on the walls and consider using something else on the floor. Something that's a little bit more appropriate and going to provide that grip that you're going to need so that you don't slip and die. That's what I'm saying. I'm always looking out for you. Okay, next impractical item I want to talk about is going to be dark countertops. PSA, I have had white countertops, I have had black, I've had granite, I've had quartz, I've had the countertops, okay? And nothing grinds my gears more than, well, that's not true. There's a lot of things that really annoy me, let's be honest. But dark countertops is up there because I think it's every crumb that you have is going to be visible. Every water stain, every little lemon drop that got there, whatever that people do on their countertops, and it's lots of stuff gets on there, like unless you're Carrie Bradshaw and you use your oven for storage, you're probably using your kitchen. There is going to be stuff that's going to get on those countertops. Every little toast morsel is going to be visible from those dark countertops. Now, you might think this is counterintuitive. Nick, this makes no sense. White shows everything, right? Like surely the dark colors would be able to hide things. No, they do not actually. A lot of these things just never look clean. These black countertops that you see, these black marbles, the soapstones, the whatever, they all look good, right? Sure, in social media, because they're photoshopped, because they're filtered, because they're cleaned extensively. These things look beautiful, but they will drive you nuts. I don't know. If you have dark countertops, you know what I'm saying, comment down below and please back me up on this. Now, if you love the look, maybe go for something like a granite, something where there's a little bit more movement in there and it's maybe kind of hide some of those, honestly, even then. Or use them in a bathroom, use them in another room where it's not really going to be as high traffic as the kitchen, because these will show everything. They will never look clean. You will always be annoyed with them. And actually white is a lot easier to clean and easier to upkeep, especially because if you see a stain or see something on there, your natural inclination is going to be to clean it up, or your family members to clean it up. I don't know who your family is. Maybe they're people that don't clean up after themselves, in which case get a new family. But until then, you know what? Hopefully train them to see that when you see a spill, mop it up. And it's easier to see that with those white countertops. If you have black or dark countertops and you go down to the angle and you can see where the light hits it, they are disgusting. Just mop them up and clean them up. If you are in the position where you're gonna be changing them out, strongly consider going with a lighter color. You will thank me later. Yeah, or you may never know what dark countertops are, in which case just believe me and believe the people that are gonna sound off in the comment section. Okay, next up is going to be open nightstands. Okay, so these are super popular, these open nightstands, and they're always styled beautifully and gorgeous, and they look amazing, and good for those people on the Instagrams. But my problem with open nightstands is my problem with a lot of open shelving, which is usually, I like open shelving when it's really intentional, right? When it's here's a shelf and I'm planning on styling it, not for storage. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be an area necessarily where you're gonna be storing a lot of stuff. The storing your stuff part of your home, I think should be closed cabinetry or somewhat hidden, because that's the stuff that you don't necessarily want people to see. Nightstands, I think, is an area where, practically speaking, if you have an open storage area, you are going to use that storage. You're gonna pile on a bunch of books there, you're gonna put glasses of water, you're gonna put just a lot of crap that's just gonna accumulate on that nightstand, because that's what happens when you have an open shelf. You naturally fill the shelf. You fill the shelf and you fill it with ugly things. And I just don't think that that's gonna make a whole lot of sense for you long term, because that's gonna bug you. So if you are a person that likes to store stuff on a nightstand, then consider investing in a closed system nightstand where you can open a little drawer and then you stuff all your crap in there, and then the rest of us don't have to look at it, or anybody else doesn't have to look at it. It's not gonna annoy you, and you're gonna know it's there, and it's there when you need it, and it's gonna make your bedroom look so much better. It's gonna look so much cleaner and so much neater because you've hidden all the stuff that you do actually need, but you just don't necessarily wanna look at every single day. Now, if you're a person that doesn't store a whole lot of stuff there, then you might not get away with something like a stool or even a little shelf. I'm personally not even a massive nightstand person. I like a nightstand, don't get me wrong, but I think it's fine that if you're just a person with a glass of water and a pair of glasses or whatever, then just have one of those little lac shelves. They're $5 or something from IKEA. You can just have a little tiny shelf there on either side of the bed, and that can be really cool too, because that's really all the basic storage that you need. But if you're a person that likes to store more stuff there, consider closed shelving, because the open ones, they're just gonna get cluttered. Okay, next up on my list is going to be dining benches and backless stools. It's been a while since I've really popped off on the old dining benches, and maybe, to be honest, that's my 9-year-old trauma of being the youngest of 4 children, and therefore always getting the stupid middle part of the dining bench that we had back in my old house back in the 100 years ago. Maybe I'm working through some trauma on this channel, and that's okay. That's a little bit of why you're here, to be honest. This is cheaper than therapy. So I don't like the dining benches because it's the worst seat in the house, because you're with somebody, you're trying to shimmy your back and forth with the stupid benches, and you have to coordinate with a partner. I don't want to coordinate with somebody else on when we're moving forward or backwards on a stupid bench. I want full control over my seat when I tuck myself in, get myself ready for a dinner. Okay, that's what I want. I don't want everybody there, and I most certainly don't want that awful middle seat, because it sucks. Everybody knows it, okay? That's why we always stick the youngest there, because it's the worst seat. It's like being in the back seat middle of a car. it's the worst seat in the house. I mean, everybody knows that. So again, these things look great on social media because it's always the like suburban mom that's like, look at my super beautiful whitewashed Instagram images with my 14 children and how they all like are dressed in little suits and dresses and stuff to get ready for their dinners or whatever. And they're all super gorgeous and they're sitting around their dining benches as they sit there in their farmhouse, right? We've seen those images and sure, it's cute, but it's not real. And it's like the worst seat. And I can tell you those little kids, they're gonna grow up and have YouTube channels and they're gonna sit there and complain to their audiences about those dining benches that their mom made them sit on, okay? So they are woefully impractical, they're not cool, they're awful. I just hate the stupid dining benches. And I'm also gonna extend my wrath to the backless stool. These are not fun. They're great for like temporary use for maybe like 5 minutes. Like I personally don't even, well, I mean, stools at an island is fine. I don't love the backless ones though, because it's good for maybe like if someone's cooking in the kitchen and you just kind of want to sit there and like chat with the person while they're cooking and doing all the work and you just want to sit there and keep them company with your glass of wine. That's usually me. You know, fine for occasional use, but like give me a back. You know what I mean? If this is a long-term thing, like if I'm again, like I'm sitting at the computer because it's the pandemic all over again. Oh gosh, could you imagine? No, let's not even go there. Then sure, we're sitting at the thing. Give me a back. Do you know, that's all I want. I want a back on that stool. I want something on that stool. I don't just want these stupid little backless stools that I'm perched on top of uncomfortably, you know, for a little bit. I don't like them. Just in general, you know, it's kind of like the armless chair at the beginning of this video. Like, give me an arm, give me a back, okay? I just want those in my seats. I'm tired of these social media posts with all these things where they're just like missing half the piece of furniture and I'm expected to just not say anything about it. So that's my impractical one. I don't like the dining benches. I don't like the backless stools or any sort of backless chair, to be honest. That's how I feel. Okay, that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. This is a bit more of a rant, but that's what these videos are. And that's kind of a little bit why you're here for it, aren't you? I'm gonna link here to a bunch of these other videos that I've done because I have complained about lots of things. And if you'd like to check out those videos, you're welcome to. So I'll see you all in those videos. Thanks, bye.